Hello, hello, welcome back to Remade Pretty. Today we're making these high-end and designer-inspired pumpkins. You won't believe how cool and easy they are to create. I'm so excited, I can't wait to show you. So if you're ready, let's go make something pretty. This first DIY is this Glamorous mirror mosaic pumpkin. I've tried a lot of different techniques for this, but I think I found one and it's super easy. The first thing you need is the foam pumpkin from Dollar Tree. Simply remove the stem and then you need to paint it. I use white chalk paint. You need at least 3 coats for this. Now, please do not attempt to spray paint these foam pumpkins. They will melt, so you need to paint them by hand. You may even need to do 4 coats. The key to this project are the Dollar Tree mirror stickers. You need about 1.5 to 2 for this project, for this size pumpkin. I never knew what else to do with these stickers, but this is the trick. The back of these stickers are pretty good adhesive, so all you need to do really is break off little pieces. Now they are plastic, so please be careful, but you simply break them into different sizes for your mosaic and you start to apply them to your pumpkin. I have found that about fingertip size works the best. Don't be too concerned about the shape. It'll all work out, I promise. Simply break off a piece and apply it to your pumpkin. Once you get started, you'll see how the pieces fit together. It's kind of like a little puzzle. I will warn you here, once you stick the piece down, do not try to pick it back up. It will take the paint with it. That is one of the drawbacks of this project. You do need to paint first. I did not want to grout this or use any of those types of products, so you need to make sure that the piece that you're going to lay down, you don't pick it back up. Find the space where the piece fits the best and just stick it down. It really is just that simple. It doesn't take much and it doesn't take long to complete the entire project. And look at that. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? I used a crystal knob for the stem. It went perfectly with this style, and you have this beautiful glamorous mosaic pumpkin for about $3. The second DIY I'm calling a Falloween beaded pumpkin. This actually turned out really great, if I do say so myself. It also was kind of special, which I'll tell you about in a minute. This was my inspiration, but as you can see, I made it my own. To get started, you need the Dollar Tree foam pumpkin. Jot black push pins, at least 3 packs. You're also going to need some black paint. I like the multi-surface paint. You don't need to apply as many coats. You're going to need a pumpkin stem. And the rest of the supplies, I changed my mind midstream, so I'll have a full list in the description, but we'll go over it as we move along. The first step is to paint your pumpkin. Using this multi-surface paint, I only needed to apply about 2 coats, but you'll want to apply as many coats as it takes until you get the desired coverage. Make sure you work it into all the nooks and crannies so that you don't have any orange peeping through. Also paint your stem. I use the Craft Smart Gilded paint in the color brass. This is one of my favorites. It gives you that high metallic shine. You do want to use this though in a well-ventilated area. Once the paint on your pumpkin is completely dry, you can start adding your push pins. Find a good place to start. I added 1 push pin at the center top of one of the columns. Then I added a row of 2, then a row of 3. I continued the rows of 3 all the way down the column. I wanted to make sure I had enough push pins to go all the way around. This is about when I realized how great this project was going to look. It also reminded me of the ornaments we made when I was a kid. We would buy the kits of the pushpin ornaments and our tree was covered with them. I loved making those ornaments. Once you have a column completed, just test it to make sure that you don't have to go all the way to the bottom because you want it to be balanced and stand up. Continue adding your push pins every other column all the way around your pumpkin. You may have to cover more than one column to make it look even. This is about when I realized that the pearls that I had intended to use, while they would still look nice, didn't have the same scale as the push pins. So let me show you what I came up with. I found these white plastic beaded necklaces at Dollar Tree. They are very plastic looking, so we're going to make them look more like pearls with a really cool technique. They come in packs of 8. I did use all 8 strands, so you only need the 1 pack. To pearlize your beads, you need some white metallic paint and create about an 80-20 mixture of paint to water. You just want to add a little bit of water to thin out the paint, just to extend the paint a little bit. Once you have everything thoroughly combined, take your pearls and just drop them into the dish. And then stir them up. Stir until you have a full coat or the desired effect on your beads. You want to pull them out, detangle them a little bit. You want to make sure that they get a thorough coat of paint. And pull them out and make sure you have a place prepared where you can let them drip dry because it does get a little bit messy. Once your beads have completely dried, and make sure they are completely dried, you can start to attach them to the pumpkin. Using hot glue, add them to the columns in between each of the pushpin columns. Take your time and make sure that you're aligning them straight, but make sure you also leave a space in between the pushpins and the pearls for the final step where we're going to add a little bit of glam to these pumpkins. It's really starting to look great. I think it looks great just the way it is, but I wanted to add a touch of gold. Using the Dollar Tree diamond wrap stickers, I cut a few strips lengthwise and then in half. And I used those in the spaces between the pearls and the push pins. This gave it a beautiful, high-end finished look. If I was going to do this over, I would probably do this step before I attach the pearls because it was a little difficult to get the strips aligned. But it all worked out in the end and it came out beautiful. All that's left is to attach the stem. This is definitely home store quality, and I love how it reminds me of my childhood. I hope it inspires you too. DIY 3 is this Mackenzie Child inspired pumpkin. I always wanted to try something like this, but was a little intimidated. I'm glad I did. It was a lot easier than I thought. And the technique for the leaves is super cool and has so much potential. You need to plan ahead a little for overnight drying time, but it's totally worth it. Let me show you how it's done. What you'll need to make the leaves is tacky glue. This is the key to making them. Yep, just tacky glue. You'll also need a printout. I just Googled free leaf printables and found something that I liked. You'll also need the Dollar Tree chopping mats. And that's it. It's 3 simple items. First, place your printout underneath the chopping mat. You can see right through it, so you'll be able to trace your design. Then take your tacky glue and apply it to one of the leaves. I start by adding some glue to the center, and then I use the tip of the bottle, the nozzle of the bottle, to move and push the glue to fill in the design. You're going to need about 1/8 of an inch thickness in order for this to work correctly. Once you've completed as much as you can with the tip of the bottle, you can use something like a zip tie to get into the finer points. It works really nicely, and with this technique you can get pretty detailed. These leaves came out beautiful. They have a lot of detail. They also have a nice stem. So just take your time and move the glue around. Again, you need about 1/8 of an inch thickness for this to work correctly. Continue to fill in your other leaves. You can move the paper and make more. You're going to need about 8 to 10 leaves in total for this project. This technique has a lot of possibilities. Because you can see through the chopping mat, you can trace just about anything, even a mermaid. Allow the glue to dry overnight. You'll know when it's dry because it turns completely clear. It'll start out white, turn a little bit milky, and then turn all the way clear. Then all you need to do is peel your design off of the mat. They should remove fairly easily, and they're not sticky at all. They will, however, stick to almost any smooth surface like glass or ceramic. So now you can see kind of the possibilities. You don't even need additional glue for these types of surfaces. For the pumpkin itself, start by creating a base coat of white, just like we did in the first DIY, using Waverly white chalk paint, about 3 coats. Once the white paint is completely dry, you can begin creating your stripes. Using the black multi-surface paint, I started by creating stripes on either side of the column. It's kind of like cutting in when you're painting a wall. Once you have your stripes in place, you can simply fill in the center. This made it a lot easier and it went a lot faster. It doesn't have to be perfect. We'll clean up some of those lines in a second. So just go for it. Now you can create the gold outline for the black stripes. So grab your gold gilding paint and a nice thin brush. Starting at the top, create a line down each side of the stripe. With the right brush, this should be fairly easy. The paint goes on really smooth and it actually touches up the edges of the black stripe. This is what gives it that great finishing touch. The last step to painting is to paint your leaves. We're going to use the gold gilding paint again. This creates a consistency across the entire project with that gold metallic look. To pull it all together, we're going to glue the leaves onto the pumpkin. They do stick fairly well without any additional glue, but I wanted to make sure that they didn't fall off. So I applied a thin layer of tacky glue to the back of the leaf and then applied it to the pumpkin. You can place them wherever you desire, whatever looks good to your eye. Just have fun with it. Look at that, it's starting to really come together. Don't forget to paint your pumpkin stem and glue it in place as well. Wow, this came out so pretty. I love the color combination. It's very rich looking. I know for sure I'll be using the leaf technique again in the future. These pumpkins look pretty together or alone and will make a beautiful accent for your home decor. I hope you saw something that inspired you. If you did, please subscribe. If you have any questions, leave me some comments. Thanks for watching and keep making pretty things.